Miss Beach here. Today we're going to do another drawing for one of our house trees. I am wearing olive green. So can you guess what house we're going to do today? If you remember Brumfield, I bet you would already had it in your head. We're going to do Olive House. It represents trust and peacefulness. And I think both those things are really important right now.
Students in House Olive embody peace. Throughout history, the olive tree has represented peace and giving. Students in this house will go above and beyond to try to find peace in a turbulent situation. The olive tree's root system runs deep, giving it the ability to grow alone in rocky situations. Because of this, students in House Olive can be trusted to do the right thing, even if they're the only ones standing up for justice. House Olive's crest shows an olive tree in the center with the root system outstretching the shield. This represents the house's ability to stand up for the right thing, even if they stand alone. At the bottom of the crest, 2 branches and 3 olives sit to represent the giving nature of their students. The green background represents friendship and peace. Atop the crest is a crown of the giraffe, representing that we are all part of the Brumfield community.
So I trust that you're going to give it your best try today. Okay, so on my paper first, I'm going to draw kind of in the middle, because the olive tree has big roots, so I got to plan out where the roots are going to go, where the trunk's going to go, and where my branches are going to go. So before I even start, I kind of have that envisioned in my head. Okay, so the olive tree has a very skinny trunk. And actually, there are a lot of wild olive trees. If you're out going for walks, you might be able to see them. So now I'm going to make a big letter Y. I'm doing it in pencil first, but going it over in Sharpie. But I'm going to go back over my line really dark so that you can see it on the screen. You can just leave it light until you're totally done and then fill it back in dark. Now I'm going to go into my branches and make them skinny at a point, and they get a little bit wider, just like the trunk. Skinny and slowly wider. Skinny, slowly wider. Okay, and branches are kind of funky. They have nooks and crannies. So if you make yours with a little bit of a bump, don't worry about erasing it. Just leave that bump. I just did it. And I'm kind of going to nestle this one into that one. See how that overlapped just a little bit? And with each Y that I make off these branches, they start to get shorter and skinnier. Okay, so now I'm going to make a Y here. All right, with this branch, I'm going to just draw another line right beside it. Now with the baobab tree, I outlined my Ys. There's 2 different techniques I'm showing you today, okay? This one, I think I'm going to do a big Y right here. And I'm drawing another line right beside it. And it's just like the other ones. It gets wider as it gets closer to its branch friend. Branch friend, that's a new term. Okay, I think I need another Y here. Coming out. Y, draw a line right beside it, and it gets thicker as it gets further down. Now, as you do your branches, notice that they shouldn't get thicker than your original branch. Each branch, as it goes out, gets thinner and thinner and thinner. Okay, that means I think I'm going to need a Y branch here. There's a big Y, but this branch is going to be skinny, skinny, skinny at the top, and about the same thickness here. So if you take your fingers and measure here and measure here. Sometimes if it's too skinny for my big hard fingers, bloop, bloop, squish to Miss Beach. Then I might use my pencil and my thumb. Let me turn it this way. See how I can move my thumb like that on my pencil? That's a great measuring tool. Measure right there. Measure right there. Yeah, same thickness. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put another branch coming off here and make it a Y. You can just throw a Y wherever you want. It's your tree. Okay, start skinny, come to the branch, skinny, come to the branch. Looking better. I like it, looks really good. So they do the peace sign, which is way out here, but when I do that, you can't see me. And then they come in, go to love. Oh, Olive, you're just the sweetest house. Okay, now it's time for my fancy little itsy bitsy cutesy Ys. Oh, they're so cute, just like you. All right. Now, make this one. Itsy bitsy skinny mini Y. What do you think? Looks good. This one looks like, I want to kind of make it a big circle, so I'm going to need a branch here. And sometimes your Y doesn't have to be a perfect Y. See how that stump side is a little bit shorter than this long side? I think I'll just do one branch coming out here. It lost its part of the Y. Boop. Okay, and I think I need one here. Boop, boop. Made a Y just by adding one branch. I found that one. It could be a Y. Sure, why not? Get it? Why not? All right. One there. One there. Sometimes you might just like throw one in that's like not quite attached, just for some symbolic, like it gets hidden behind the leaves you're about to draw. So I did that very lightly because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. But it's just kind of a swooping line. Maybe one here. And I think one here. Okay, so we got two techniques going on. We got the Y that's attached to each branch and that gets skinnier as it gets further to the top. And then we got the swooping line, which is like a comma and then double back on itself. Make a U-turn, and fill it in. But that swoop doesn't actually touch the branches. And hey, take a look at your picture. How's your tree looking? Now, Olive House is known for its root system because it has such a deep root system. That's why I left so much space down here, because we're going to do the roots. It almost ends up looking kind of mirrored when you look at it, because the root system's going to be just as big as the branches, and do some Y techniques like the branches. But here's the cool thing about an olive tree. Because they can grow in really rocky, turbulent situations, but their roots are so strong, even when things get tough, they're trusted to stand tall and do the right thing. And that's why their Latin word is fiducia. Fiducia, which means trust in Latin. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start with a wavy line coming out the line of each trunk. Doesn't matter how you do it, just a little squiggly so it looks less like a branch and more like a root. Now, I'm going to make that a Y. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. A wiggly Y. Likes to party. Okay, looking pretty good. Now for this one, I think I'm going to do the tracing technique. I'm going to go around my wiggly Y, make it pointy at the end, around my wiggly Y, but don't touch it. I like to pretend that it's an electric fence. Go around your wiggly Y, make it pointy at the tip, around the wiggly Y, make it pointy, but don't electrocute it. Good. Now you're making that root stay right where it was. This is why we're using a pencil. I'm going to go back in and erase my wiggly Y. Now I'm going to come around right where my root stopped, and I'm going to do another Y. But this one's going to come out a little further. Okay, come around, do the electric fence. Get really close to your Y, but don't zap it. There's a good little Y, you just don't want it to run away. Okay, I'm going to do another one just like that over here. Just a little bit longer than my last Y, and still just as wiggly. Get really close to your wiggly Y, don't zap it. Okay, I'm going to go back in and erase. All right, this middle one is a little bit unusual. It's kind of a straight down Y, like that. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Don't let it get zapped. If it would help you to flip your paper all the way over and draw your Y's upside down, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a lot easier to think of it this way than upside down. Okay, now it's time to go back in and add my little Y's. You know, there's a lot of space right here, so I'm going to do this same trick I did here and just add a root that's sticking out without a Y. So it's just kind of a wiggly old root. And right here, I just connected it to that center Y, and I'll erase the lines so that they all look connected. Okay, add some little Y's in here, just here and there. Whatever I do to this side, I'm going to do to this side just so I get some symmetry. Symmetry is when I fold my paper, it looks exactly the same on both sides. Hey, little math word for you. Kind of cool that artists use math in their work. So that means I gotta think, if I do it over here, do I do it over here? You know, I've decided to make this a Y after all. Just a little one. Let's see. Oh, I like it. Now, everywhere I added a new root, I'm gonna go in and erase where they touch. Just erase right where it touches the root before it. All right, flip it over. Now, I'm gonna go over my lines in Sharpie. Oh, kind of a dull Sharpie. There we go, I got it to work. So that you can see them. If you wanna add more little tiny roots sticking out of your root system, go for it. They're your roots. This is your olive tree. If you wanna add blooms on your olive tree, go for it. Your olive tree. You get to do whatever you want to it. That's really fun about being an artist. So we take some things we learn from other people, me in this case, and then you change it and you make it your own. I'm not looking for you to copy my tree exactly, because then you wouldn't have as much fun with it. I'm looking for you to learn some technique, get some ideas, and then go make your own. You can, of course, practice with me and try your best to copy something. That's how I learned when I was a kid, actually. I would get those how-to draw books all the time. You can ask my mom, I got them all the time. Uh-oh, I grabbed a Sharpie that's running out of ink. Maybe if I scribble down here on the bottom. Come on, Sharpie. Hold, please. Back with a brand new green Sharpie. Okay, tracing lines. When I get to this part, I'm not gonna trace the line underneath. I'm just gonna trace the branches so they look like they connect nice and smoothly. Again, you do not have to even outline yours. I'm doing it so you can see better. Some art is outlined black, some art isn't. You decide what you want to do. The olive leaves take forever. So what I'm going to do is show you, but I'm going to probably edit down this video some. So that way you don't have to watch me drawing tiny leaves over and over again, okay? And you can see what the finished product looks like. These little wispy branches. Okay, the olive leaf is very small. And it's kind of a teardrop shape. It's got point on the top and almost a little point on the bottom. I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna draw some olive leaves. Not quite touching, because the symbol that we have doesn't have our olive leaves touching. They're kind of just hanging out the side. So basically I'm just drawing little tiny ovals with some points on the end. And I'm just doing it around the branch. Now this isn't what a tree actually looks like. This is our artist interpretation of an olive tree for Brumfield. So if you're like, I don't like that symbolism, I'd rather do something more realistic, then you don't have to. You can go and look at some trees online and get some reference points for what an olive branch looks like and draw those. If you want to do it this way, what I'm doing is I'm just doing olive leaves that kind of point in the direction of the branch. My nose is the branch. Sometimes I'll throw in some extra leaves like this and do a second row beside it if I want my tree to look more filled. If it's a springtime tree, then I recommend you do that. Again, you decide. You could put a bird's nest in your tree. That would be great for springtime. I'm rushing a little. When you do yours, take your time, please. I just want to make sure you get a chance to see this. Totally finished. These little floaty branches, get them too. I think I'll add a little bit of highlight for some bark here and there. Go back in and erase some of my pencil lines. All right, my friends, I'll see you next week for our last tree. Wonder if you can guess which one that is. Bye. Miss ya.